Hey, good afternoon. It's Josh Ellsworth with Stalls, and I'm excited to be broadcasting live to you on this Friday afternoon here on the East Coast. I'm coming to you live from my office here in southwestern Pennsylvania, and I got another local guy that's going to be joining. His name is Mike Koval. I'll bring him in here in a second, but I've worked alongside Mike probably for the better part of 10 years, and we've both held different positions here at Stalls, but one of the most exciting things that we've worked on together lately is our new Spirit Sale e-commerce platform. And that's our topic for today's live. So whether you're watching on YouTube or our Facebook group or our Facebook page, we thank you for joining us. Please make sure you chat in, let us know who you are and where you're watching from, or you may be watching the recorded version of this afterwards. And that's okay, because this is our updated 2021 video where we are going to do a complete demo of Spirit Sale with a focus of selling more through online stores. And so let me bring Mike in. We'll welcome him to the party and he can introduce himself to you all. Hey, Mike.
Hey, well, welcome everybody. Pleasure to be here today. Josh says, my name is Mike Koval, and yeah, I have had the pleasure of working with him for 10 plus years as I've been here with Stalls since May of 2004. So it's been quite some time. We're in many hats, from sales to tech to, you name it, I've done it here. Kind of consider myself the Swiss Army knife here at Stalls. So pleasure to be on here and showing you the demo.
Yeah, and how long have you been working with Spirit Sale, Mike, with helping customers get started with it?
I'd say since probably late 2019, just shortly after its launch.
Okay, excellent. And so just to update everybody, what we're talking about here is an e-commerce platform for setting up client-specific web stores. A lot of people get confused about what Spirit Sale is. We built this at Stalls from the ground up, and the reason we built it is because we identified an opportunity in the market and a trend where small apparel decorators needed to be able to have an e-commerce system where they can set up web stores for their clients. Don't think of this just as team sports stores. We see people setting up fundraising stores and stores for small businesses and even retail boutique opportunities. There are just so many different ways that people are setting up these pop-up shops, these long-standing shops with Spirit Sale. And we're going to walk you through how to do it and let you apply that logic to a lot of different ways. So we did come out with this in 2019. We've had a great user base and have helped customers generate many millions of dollars in revenue through this solution. So one of the first things I'm going to ask Mike to do, if you can kind of share your screen in the background. I lost the ability to add that. So if you can pull that up, we're going to share a couple different front end stores first. And that will allow you guys to kind of see how people are using Spirit Sale. And then we'll go through how you can use that in your business. And please chat in questions if you have them. So with that in mind, Mike, your screen's on air. Let's walk us through some front end stores here.
All right. So as Josh mentioned, there's no real wrong way of what type of stores you want to set up. Now, traditionally, folks have used this for setting up stores for their clients, for schools, for teams, for leagues, corporate business, local business, fundraising events. So really anything. But the pandemic, that we've all faced over the last year have changed a number of things in the way folks have done business. So while they have used these for traditional methods, but have been setting up these pop-up shops to sell specific things. So early on in the pandemic, we saw a huge spike in our user base setting up stores just to sell customized face masks or other type of PPE equipment. Some folks wanted to set up stores to sell humorous saying tees, quarantine and chill, all that good stuff, or, monogrammed apparel, children's apparel. So whatever it is that you want to set up, you can do so here in Spirit Sale because it gives you that flexibility to customize these storefronts, to look like they're for the specific clients they're for or for whatever market they're intended for. And so you could see this one, it's set up for a fictional school district to sell all of their spiritware items from t-shirts to hoodies to shorts, all those types of things. And then jumping to our next tab here, this is a store that was set up for fundraising events. So again, early on in the pandemic, the restaurant industry and things like that suffered quite a bit. So we had a lot of our customer base and subscribers reach out to those local businesses to set them stores up, for the fundraising events. I know one of the biggest ones that, Josh, if you could remind me the name of that folks did a lot for the restaurants.
Here for good.
Yeah, here for good. So a number of those folks set up these stores to sell, all the different branded apparel for that organization or for that business. And at the same time, you're able to then put that front and center on your websites here. So this one's for Pittsburgh Veteran Relief, setting the goal of that fundraiser, and Spirit Sale having the ability to keep track of all those fundraising dollars. And that's a nice feature there, because when visitors come there, they see that front and center. This is for a specific fundraiser. They see the goal, and it's almost encouraging to those visitors, you know what, if I buy just a couple of more items here, I'm helping this organization achieve their goals for their fundraising efforts.
Yeah, so just to pause on that for a second, so everybody can digest it. What this is, it's not Shopify, okay? It doesn't even really compete with Shopify, where you're not necessarily building your own website to sell your own brand of apparel. While you can set up a store for that, if that's all you want to do, Spirit Sale is not the solution. The business model and what we're seeing here, and with people really growing, because we monitor the people that subscribe to Spirit Sale and how fast their business is growing versus people who don't. What we're seeing here are people setting up these stores for their customers. And that's one of the coolest things is with this platform, you can literally set up 1,000 stores for 1,000 different customers and run them simultaneously. And it's quick and it's pretty easy to do, in my opinion. And so we see it a lot for fundraising, a lot for causes, as Mike's showing, a lot for schools and small businesses. So a lot of different ways you can deploy this. Did you have another example store, Mike, that you wanted to show us?
Yeah, and we just had another one, for, another local business, gyms. A lot of folks during this pandemic, they did a lot of working out, and now things are getting back open again, where now you're able to then build these stores for this specific client here, and again, populate it with any number of those branded products for that. So just as I mentioned, no real wrong way to set up these stores. I mean, the sky's the limit with your imagination, and we all deal with different clients day in and day out. This is just another tool in your arsenal to provide them great service. And, at the end of the day, you're making it easy for your customers, because now if you build them this store, what are they doing? They don't have to keep track of anything anymore. They're just going to sit back and collect their profits from these stores just like they normally do. But now you're doing all that work for them, making it easy on them and keeping coming back to you.
Yeah, so it really eliminates that, right? Because people can purchase and they can check out online. So Spirit Sale, it's a lot of things. We're going to go deep into it, but at a high level, it's these client-specific web stores, but it's also the ability, if somebody doesn't want to set up a website and you just want a way to be able to transact with your customers, it's a great way to be able to send a quote online and be able to collect money online. And so a lot of people miss this function of this tool. Is not only can you set up stores, but you can just build quotes. If a customer has a bulk order that they want to place, you can set up a quote on Spirit Sale, send that to your client, and they can check out and basically enter their credit card and pay you. Do you have an example of a quote, Mike?
Absolutely. So let me jump over to my dashboard here, and this is the Spirit Sale dashboard, which we'll see more of here throughout this presentation. This is our control hub, but here we do have a section here entitled quotes, which is essentially, it gives you another tool to build quotes for those folks who don't necessarily need a store, but they come to you, say, hey, I need 25 hoodies, 25 t-shirts, or what have you. You could build them that itemized quote here online and generating an online quote for them to be able to review that and purchase. So I already have one of these quotes built here into my system. So I'm going to go ahead and click into this. And as this loads, now what we're going to see here is you're able to then set this quote up with an expiration date, order by date, receive by date, so the customer can see all of that information right up front, assign it to your specific customer here, and obviously your information is going to be put here. And so here we have some various products within this with the price and the quantity here. And then once you generate this quote, you will be able to then have a URL generated for this. So this is what then you're going to send to that customer. They're going to be able to click this link, review all the information that you've put forth, so they could see, okay, here's my t-shirt offerings with whatever logos that are going on this. So this is for a local bar, restaurant type thing here with the hoodies, various hats, and different products here for them to choose from. And the beauty of this is now the back and forth that you may have via email or phone calls and things like that, this could all be done here. They could add comments to specific products, reject a specific product or approve it. But the beauty of it all is if everything's all good, they're ready to go, they're able to approve this quote as they see it, check out, pay for that. that order is going to come directly to you right here, ready for you to fulfill here in your order system here.
Good. So I love that part of it, and that's why I wanted to get the quotes. We're not going to go too deep into quotes today, but I wanted you to see that even if your client doesn't want an online store, or maybe they have an online store but they want to place bulk orders. Just had a customer that had that scenario where they wanted to build online stores for retail sort of inspiration, but they also wanted to stock a physical location of a gym with merchandise. And this was a great way to be able to handle both and keep all of the orders and the invoices and the tracking flowing through one system. Okay, so we're going to go through the back end of how to set up a store. And I just want to clarify something I stated earlier. You can build as many websites as you want for whatever reason. And so while I said that you maybe don't want to purchase this just for building one singular website, if you want to build your own website to sell your own apparel, I saw a comment come through, you could certainly do that. But the beauty here is maybe you have ideas for different apparel brands and different verticals. It's always better to create that tailored shopping experience around that particular customer interest. And that's really going to help you even if you build 6 stores for yourself, with marketing those stores to different verticals with different advertising campaigns to bring those clients in. So you can certainly build a store for yourself, but to really leverage this and maximize the value, you're probably going to want to be setting up many stores over time. All right, so we had a brief appearance by the dog. Is that a dog or a cat that you just pulled over your shoulder?
Yeah, that was my.
The beauty of working from home, we're all doing it, Mike. All right, so go ahead and walk us through the back end of the stores, and this is the shop owner view. So as an apparel decorator, this is where you would log in and manage your business and set up stores.
Yeah. So this is where all the fun happens once you are set up with Spirit Sale. This is where you're going to manage everything, obviously from setting up the stores, but building out all the different products for your stores, managing customers, orders, the quoting tool, as well as some back-end production tools that's going to help you manage all of these orders that you start receiving from start to finish, here in a logical manner. And, some things that we can highlight here before you get started creating stores is you're going to be able to manage all of the payments here for your customers. So right now we are able to integrate with some different third-party payment merchants. So first 2, authorize.net and stripe.com. Those would allow you to accept credit card on these stores that you build, as well as a PayPal account. And what separates us from many other competitors out there is we're not touching any of the payments and monies that come through from all of these orders here. So when you link these accounts here, they're your own specific accounts here. So those monies that happen go directly into your accounts. We don't touch any of them. So the good news is all of those profits that you generate from these stores are yours. Many competitors out there, while they process the payments for you, and at the same time, they're going to take upwards of 4% of every dollar that you make there. So again, we're not taking any of that. All of those profits go directly to you. You could even set your store up as an offline payment to pay with cash or checks, things like that. So you have a lot of different options there as far as payment. You could also link shipping accounts in here as well. So by linking some of the main shippers here, USPS, UPS, and FedEx, that's going to allow you to utilize these rates from those providers to pass along to the customer so that you're not overcharging or undercharging folks for shipping costs. But you could also set those up however you want to as well, whether you want to set your store up as a free shipping. Perhaps you build a cost of that into the products that you sell. Or this store you set up as for a pickup, where they're going to pick it up from your business or perhaps the school, the team office, wherever that might be. Or you could even set a simple flat rate of X amount of dollars. So they order 10 items, it's still that amount in shipping. So you could manage that. It gives you the flexibility to do so however you need.
So it seems like, a lot of functionality, but basically the payment, collecting money, and setting up your shipping methods. As a shop owner, what I want to point out is you probably do that once. Like when you first sign up for the platform, you enter your credentials to be able to accept money through from all your stores, and then you set up your shipping methods and how you want to ship with your personal account credentials. And once you do that and set it up once, you're able to apply those to the stores as you build them. So it's very flexible in that way.
Absolutely. And so then once you have those main things linked up, you only have to do it once, like Josh said. And now here's where all the fun begins, when you create your new stores. And there are an unlimited amount of stores that you could create in this platform. There's no cap on anything. 1 store, 1,000 stores, they could all be open and generating sales at the same time too. So there's no limits on anything. So the first step in that process of building your store is naming your store. And so here in this text field, whatever you enter here will be followed by .spiritsale.com, so which is then going to generate us a website address for those customers to visit. And so I'm just going to use today's date today, 0406 20, or I'm sorry, 16/16/2021. And as you can see, it's going to generate that website address 041621.spiritsale.com. What's nice here is once you reserve this URL, there's no other subscriber that could use that, and that'll be saved. So this store will remain yours for your entire subscription. And then here is then where you set the shipping method for this store. I don't have any of the main shipping accounts linked here, but had I did, they would show up here as options to choose. And you can choose multiple shipping methods for every store you create. So let's just say we are doing this for a school. Oftentimes it's a pickup at that school. So you're able to select that, enter the location where it is, and obviously the address here of where to pick that up. So this information will then be displayed during the checkout so that customer knows where to pick this order up. And
okay,
I'm also, go ahead.
Sorry, Mike. I just want to make sure we get this. So what you're setting up here are the options on this store. So when, as a decorator, you set this up for a school, let's say, the school shares the web store link out, and when the parents or the different supporters of that school that want to buy merch check out, they'll be afforded these options to select from. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Perfect.
In my case, they'll be able to either choose a pickup. Oftentimes at schools it will be that way because most of the business will be local, so they could pick it up at the gym or the admin office, wherever. But grandma and grandpa, they may live across the country but still want to support their granddaughters, grandsons, whatever. So here in my dashboard, I have a customized flat rate of $10. So you could give those customers the flexibility to choose whether or not they want it shipped or pick it up at that location. Same thing with payment methods. You can allow that customer multiple options to pay, whether it be one of these credit card services and a PayPal account. That customer will then choose Stripe or PayPal when they're checking. Well, Stripe is a credit card processor, and they choose whichever way they want to pay. So I'm just going to set my store as an offline payment here as well, just so you can see that functionality during the checkout process. And then we also give you 4 different themes to choose from. And this is just the template of your website. Each of these templates are customizable via color schemes, photos, and logos. So you're really able to customize that look specifically for the store's needs or for the client. And then
a lot of the solutions that I've seen out there will basically give you one theme and everything looks cookie cutter. And so this is going to give you the ability as a decorator, especially if it's a long-standing store, as you'll see here, and not a pop-up store that may only last a week. There's 2 different models we'll talk about. If you're creating a long-standing brand store, you can really put a lot of energy into highly stylizing it with one of these templates so it looks completely unique to them. They're going to love it.
For sure. And then, once you have those basics, we have here publishing a store. We're not quite ready for this section just yet, so we'll jump back to that once we put some products into this specific store. So once you have those settings set, now we'll click create. So what we've just done is we've just built a basic framework of our store. We've reserved this URL for our Spirit Sale account, so no one else will be able to use that. And now the next step is adding products to the store that are going to be able to be purchased. So here we have some options for you. The first one being stock product. And under the stock product, we have the apparel catalogs already populated into the system from Sanmar as well as S&S Activewear. So basically what that means is those products have already been preloaded into the system, meaning the photo images have already been populated, all the size and color variants have already been populated. So those have already been pre-built, so they're easy. Point and click, add to your store, drop your decorations on them. So it's a huge time saver there. Most of our users are using those suppliers, so it's just an easy transition for those types of products. Now, that doesn't just mean you're only limited to using those wholesalers or apparel only. Getting into custom product allows you to basically build any type of product that you want to sell, whether they're promotional products or stickers, decals, yard signs, what have you. Basically, any other product that you want to create, you can do that here with a custom product. It's just you building that from scratch, adding the photos, adding all the different size and color variants there. But the good news is once you do build a custom product, it's going to save in your product library, and then you're going to be able to then in turn add that to any other future store that you do build here. And so I'm just going to stick with the stock product here today. So clicking into there, then we are going to be presented with those wholesalers categories here. So Sanmar, S&S, you're free to choose either one that you want to. I'll just stick with Sanmar today. But S&S skin will look pretty much the same, but obviously with their products. So selecting Sanmar, we can see, a list of their products visually. So if I'm a decorator, I could scroll through here page by page to find any items that I want to put in this store or use these categories over here. And so here I'm just going to use this Gildan 5000. It's probably the most common, basic t-shirt here. And then this is where you're going to lay out the product options that the customer could choose here. And so this first step is adding the color selection for the customer. You could choose here. So if I only wanted to offer one color in this Gildan 5000, say Royal, just put a checkbox here. But if you want to offer multiple selections for that customer, put a checkbox in these colors. And then that customer, when they visit this product page, can choose whichever shirt color that they want. And then step 2, this is what size availability that customer could choose. So right now they could choose small through 3XL, but if for any reason you even wanted to limit a certain size, perhaps their Sanmar didn't have any stock in a certain size, you could turn those off, and then that's going to limit that customer to choosing small through extra large. So it does give you that flexibility to offer really as many options as you want, or even restrict them if you need to. Okay. And so then here we are seeing some blank costs here. So this reflects our pricing here at Transfer Express as well as stalls for these for this particular blank garment. Now that doesn't force you to purchase those items from us here. You are still able to order direct from Sanmar as usual. But later on in the steps, we'll be able to change these costs here to reflect our own business costs so that when we do run reports, it's accurate information based off of our business and needs here. And now that stock count does pull directly from Sanmar's distribution points, so that is updated, I think, every 18 to 24 hours. So it's a very accurate stock count of what they have in stock of this Gildan 5000.
Yeah, that's really important. For those who haven't launched online stores, that's one of the major pain points is when you launch a product into a store. And like this fall and even into the spring, we experienced the fleece shortage across all the suppliers in the country. So that was really helpful to make sure you were launching styles and colorways that you could fulfill, right? Pretty important to be able to order them when the store closes. So that's a very helpful feature.
For sure. And then here's step 3. If you are going to utilize the rates from those providers, this is where you have the ability to assign this specific product a shipping weight, which in turn is going to use that variable that you enter here to call out to any of those services that you're going to provide for this store to calculate that shipping cost. Now, in our case, we just set our stores a pickup and a flat rate of $10. So this field right now has no bearing on this store because it's only utilized for the rates from those providers. And now importing our product, this is then going to bring it into our designer, which is then where we're going to lay out all of the product options that the customer could choose here for this specific product. So we're going to add any of the graphics that we're adding on this shirt, as well as giving them any type of options when it comes to personalization via names, numbers, text, what have you here. So all of that is built here within this designer here.
Okay, Mike. Sorry, just quick. Give you a second to breathe. We have some questions that are coming in, so I want to make sure we're not leaving people behind. If you're just joining us, this will be recorded. Maybe you're watching the recording, that's fine. But if you're watching it live with us, it is being recorded, and you'll be able to play it back once the whole thing concludes on either YouTube or Facebook where we're broadcasting. Michelle asked, does stock show up when the customer is ordering? The answer to that is no. It shows up when you're launching the store. So you want to be careful in your long-standing stores that you are considerate of if items are running out. But at the point of launch is where you as a business owner see the stock position, not when the customer is ordering. Also, I think those are the questions. Gildan tees are great. Thanks, Arlene, for the feedback. Looks like we have people from all around the world watching. So I want to make sure we point out that right now this is just active and live in the U.S. Market currently. We do have expansion plans for Canada next, but right now it's U.S. market only. So I wanted to make sure we noted that. All right, Mike, back to you.
Okay, so here we are in Designer, and again, this is then where you're going to lay out all the product options. So basically what you're doing here is you're generating that visual mock-up. So when the customers visit this store, they know what options they have. They know what type of decorations they're getting on this. And here we give you a lot of options here, from using your own artwork, because we know many of our customers, they're using Corel, Illustrator, and doing a lot of great creations on their own. But in addition to that, we've also added a lot of pre-designed templates in here from many of our various sources of graphics. So here first, we could demonstrate that. So coming in here into our templates, this is where we're going to have an entire library, a variety of different templates for to use, covering many different markets here. And they're all categorized here in any number of different ways, pulling from various sources, one being our CADWorks Live, which is our free online design service that's template driven. We also have pulling in from our Stalls CAD Cut templates features here. And in addition, we also have the entire Transfer Express Easy Prints library populated in here. And so here you're free to choose any of these type of products. And so what's nice is these CADWorks templates, these Stalls templates, you have the ability after these orders start coming in to download those templates that you may use as vector format. So if you need to burn a screen, or you're going to cut these out yourself, or DTG, however you're decorating these products, you're going to be able to have those vector files for you to then reproduce that for whatever decorating methods you're using. And then anything from Transfer Express, for our customer base there, it's going to be an easy transition for you to send those directly to us via the EasyView Designer to lay out your gang sheets and order those screen printed transfers. And so, and you have that same functionality here that you do online. So if you wanted to use this specific template here for one of ours, or for one of your products here, that's all great. And the beauty of these things is they're all customizable then to suit your needs. So this Riverside, I could double click on this, and I could customize this. So let's just say my city. I'm able to then change all this text, the fonts, the colors, all that stuff to basically recreate this artwork to make it my own. It's a huge time saver, because if we have a template that you like, your customer likes it, why reinvent the wheel and creating something from scratch? Just utilize these pre-done templates to save yourself some design time. So all of that functionality there. And then in addition to being able to use any of our services, you also have that ability to bring in your own artwork creations. So bringing in your own artwork, very, very simple. So if, clicking in import, it's going to bring up a browser window from my computer. I select the graphic file that I want onto this particular piece, and it's going to drop it in here. So from this point, I'm just going to simply resize this, and position this artwork wherever it's going to be on that final decorated piece. So then when the customer visits this page, they know exactly what product they're going to be receiving here. And so also, what's great about this designer is it gives you the ease of use to add any type of personalization that you want to this garment. So let's face it, here in our industry, names, numbers, customized text, that's extremely popular. And one, not only is it popular and the customers love it, what's it doing for this product? One, adding personalization, it's going to add just a tremendous amount of value for that customer. If they're able to personalize it with their name, or specifically for themselves, that's increasing the likelihood of them purchasing that product. And on the flip side of that, what does personalization for the decorator do? That's going to add the potential to add much more profitability to any item that you sell here, because you're going to be able to assign specific charges for those customized names, and it's very simple to do. So if I want to add that name option to the back of this product, simply turn this around. So now I'm at the back image view. So I could just simply come in here, add a text field. And now here we have our formatting box. So I'm able to then type in what I want. So I'm just going to use the word name here, because at the end of the day, they're going to be inputting their own. So here I'm typing in my name. And here, just like templates, we have fonts pulling from CADWorks, from Stalls, as well as Transfer Express. And then if you have specific fonts that you want to use, you could import your own TrueType font file, so a .ttf. You could import them in here to the designer. So if a customer uses a specific font you need to display on their products, import that font in here to the system, and you could select it, and it'll be on display here on these products. And so I'm just going to choose one of our CADWorks fonts here. So I'll just click this basic one, click OK, and now we see our new design element appear. And now for what I'll do is I'll just simply drop this between the shoulders. Here I'm able to set a specific size. So if I want this to be a 2-inch name, and then here in this color wheel, I'm able to represent a different color. So if I'm going to cut this out of vinyl myself. So here we have a general color palette here. But for those of you doing your own vinyl cutting and things, here we have all of our heat transfer films represented here via color. And one of the nice things here, for those of you who do a lot of special effect finishes such as glitter, if I choose my glitter color palette here, it shows the gold here, but I want to zoom in here so you could see this. Our glitter flake library has an added texture to that, so it just gives that customer one other layer of visibility there. So if they know it's glitter, they could see this texture. It's just not going to have that just flat yellow color. It gives them better representation to see what that glitter is going to look like there. So a lot of nice features within there when it comes to our color palettes and things. And so the
And
last step, go ahead, Josh.
just a couple side notes. I think really what we're doing is we're creating the product that the shopper sees. And so by adding these textures, you're creating like really good virtual mock-ups and visualization of samples that aren't available on a lot of other e-commerce sites. And so if you are leveraging the full capabilities of vinyl, showing them textures is really going to help separate your business from anywhere else they'll be shopping, and perhaps get them to go from a basic look to an upgraded look because they'll be able to see it. And then the other thing that I think is key to point out here is not only is Spirit Sale building product for you to create mock-ups and sell, but you're actually building production files here. So I want you to really, as you're building your products, keep in mind the sizing of the name. Is it going to be the actual size that's going on your garment? I'm going to encourage you to make that sizing be accurate, because we're going to, at the end of the process, a little bit later in the demo, we're going to show you how you can easily take everything that's sold and easily send it to your vinyl cutter to be able to produce it and group everything efficiently. So keep that in mind at this step in the process. Some people use Spirit Sale for production management. If you plan to do that, especially if you're doing vinyl cutting, I'd recommend you do things true to size. Some people use Spirit Sale just to list and sell and collect orders, and they handle their production completely outside their system, outside the system with their sizing. Make that determination as you're building products. It'll make your life easier.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Mike.
That's okay. And so here we have our name option. So if we just stopped right here, they would have the word name on the back of their shirt. Obviously, we don't want that. So here we have some options for this text field. So here, if I check this box to make this editable, once we visit this product page, they'll be able to input their own name right there. And then the optional feature, that just allows you to make that name optional on this garment. So meaning customer visits that product page, they could just simply buy the t-shirt with the autism logo on the front. But if they want, they could choose the option to add their name there. And then here, I'm going to label this name, because in this next step, we're going to see that's going to then have this field labeled as name, which in then turns, we're going to be able to assign that specific upcharge. So if they decide to add that name, we're going to charge them accordingly for that. Okay, Josh, are there any questions here on the designer that to go over before I move on?
There are some good questions. Also, I want to make a comment. I know for some of you, this will seem like a lot, but I want to assure you that there is very broken down step-by-step video training if you decide this is a solution for you. I also feel like we're about halfway through. So I want to mention the price. This is $599 a year, right, Mike?
Yes, $599 per year.
And that's unlimited stores. We don't auto renew, we call you, okay? We're not looking to just take your money. We're looking to make you successful with selling more custom apparel using more vinyl and transfers. So Mike or Clint actually call you when your subscription is coming up and say, is this valuable? Do you want to renew? We think it's a very fair price for what you can do with it, and you'll get the return many times over. There are questions. One person watching on YouTube says, I don't have an EIN number yet. Should I get one so I can buy wholesale? I'm a veteran and want to sell t-shirts to veterans and their families. Unequivocally, yes. If you can set up as a business, if you're selling customized apparel and plan to make it a business, do it. You're going to save on your cost of goods and be able to generate a lot more profit on what you make. And then, Mike, I'm going to give this one to you. Someone says, when the product photo comes in, can we choose which SanMar image comes over, the model versus the item only? Any advice on that?
Yeah, sure. You can absolutely choose which images that you want. Now, I know the SanMar garments that we have loaded into the system, the images that we have populated do include the model. But here I could come to my product images. And so if you do have an account with SanMar, you're able to then have access to their image library as well. So if I wanted to use the blank only, I could delete these and then upload my own photos of this specific product. So I'm free to use what SanMar has, but I'm fully capable to delete these options and then include my own photos, whether I want to show an already screen printed piece or an embroidered piece, or just use the blank only there. So you do have that flexibility to change those as well.
And you can add a third image too if you have
Yeah.
it,
Oh, yeah.
right? Yep.
Yeah. You could also add a left view, a right view, or a product view is essentially just kind of a singular image product. But if you wanted to show a sleeve print, you could show the left or the right side of that particular product. So you could then highlight that sleeve print or whatever it is there. So you could have up to 5 different image views for every product that you create.
Cool. That's it on questions for now.
Okay, perfect. So here we were in our design center. We had our options laid out with the logo on the front and the optional name on the back. And so now the next step in the process is once you have that here, we could come, let me save that again. So save. And then managing our variants. This is then where we're going to be able to input our selling prices as well as input all of our costs that go into producing this particular item. And that's where this is going to come in very handy. So when you do run reports for these stores, you're going to know the exact cost of your decorating, your blanks, and any portion of these sales that go back to that customer, right? So here, the first thing I like to do is I like to set my costs globally here. And so what this is going to do is this is all for your internal reporting purposes only. So no one else will see this information. Again, this is just simply for you to keep track of everything within this system. So our first one is our blank cost. So here what you're going to enter is essentially whatever you're paying for that blank. So if I know I bought this from Transfer Express, it's $2.88 a piece. But if you buy direct from Sanmar or from whatever wholesaler you're getting these products from, you enter your cost in here. So I like simple math. I'm a simple creature. So let's just say my blank cost is $3 for this t-shirt. Then this second field here, it's labeled fundraiser fee, but what this field is this essentially, since you're managing all of the payments for these stores, this is essentially whatever you're going to give back to the client from their profits or for a particular fundraiser. So let's just say whoever this site is for, they want $3 every time this t-shirt is sold. Okay, so now I could input that in there again. $3 I know goes back every time this is sold. And then the last one here, it's labeled transfer cost, but essentially what it is, it's your decorating cost. So if you're screening, embroidering, transfers, vinyl, whatever it costs you to produce these garments, you're going to input that cost here. And when it comes to your cost, yeah, you're going to include your transfer cost, your vinyl cost, or your cost of goods. Don't forget to include any types of upcharges for your overhead or your heat presses and things like that. Don't forget to don't shortchange yourself on there. Include all the costs that go into making this, no matter what it is. Again, so I like simple math. So let's just say I know my decorating here cost me $3 to create this t-shirt. So now I could click update. So I know for this particular product, anytime I'm decorating this, I know $9 of it is my cost from my blank to my decoration, as well as whatever portion goes back. And then that's going to help me determine my selling price to incorporate my profitability into this. So here I'm able to set my price of this globally. And so here we have 2 options here. We have 2 options because we made that name optional. So this gives us the opportunity to assign a specific cost for that, as well as the base price. So our first price here, so let's just say $14 is the price of this, selling price of this t-shirt if only they got the front logo here on the front. So that includes $5 of profits for me because I covered my 9, so that 5 additional is my profits. And so now here, if they decide to add that name, this is then where you're going to hit them with that upcharge. Now in our industry, for a customized name, on the low end, you're looking at about $3, but on the high end, somewhere $5 to $6 for a customized name here. So whatever you normally charge for that. So I'll just go the $5 here. So now I could have a potential sale of $19 for this particular t-shirt that covered my $9 cost that went into this. Okay. And so now I'm able to update that. And so this section right here is the only thing that customer will see is the selling price and whatever it costs them to add that customized name here. Okay. And so we did have a question about stock. So you can kind of do a quasi inventory here at the store level. So if you were doing a store for a certain customer, they say, hey, we only want to sell 100 of each size and each color. So you could turn this track inventory on, enter a quantity in of whatever you want to sell. So if it is 100 of each, you could set this as 100. And so as this store opens and then folks begin to buy all these different things, so let's say all 100 of the small royals are out of stock, everybody purchased, this would then be at 0. And then that customer, anytime they visit that page, would not be able to add the royal blue small to the cart because it's out of stock. So there is kind of a small, inventory tracking system in here if you want to set that at the store level. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, I think I could see that being beneficial, especially if you're a decorator that's stocking goods and printing on demand, because you keep your basic inventory and whatever products you're selling across many stores. You can manage that inventory there, which is really cool. And then just to clarify for Michelle, yes, this is a cloud-based program, completely cloud-based. There's nothing to download at all. So you can work on your stores anywhere. I think it's even mobile friendly as well.
Yeah, so mobile friendly. The stores that are created are extremely mobile friendly. Now you could even access this dashboard, via mobile devices, but I really wouldn't want to use the product designer on a little iPhone or, Android or anything like that. So when creating your products, it's always best to do it on a desktop. But, these are very mobile friendly sites once they are created.
Yeah, and Kathy had the same pickup I did. So it's a development opportunity for us. Good pickup. She said, won't you have more cost for the extra name? That wasn't figured into the initial cost of your production. So yeah, we should have a field there when you have an optional, that there's an optional cost that travels with it. Good catch, Kathy. We'll put that on our hit list.
We good?
Yeah.
All right. So really, once you have all of those options set here for this particular product, the last step for us to do is really publish the product. So you could either do it here in this section, but I like to come back here into the product details before I publish, is because it gives me then the opportunity to rename this product to go with my store. So we chose the Sanmar product, so it's just using the stock and brand name of the product that we chose and the general description. So at this point, I'm able to title my product whatever I want. So I'm just going to say my store, custom tee. So you're able to tailor these names for the sites that they're in, as well as the description. Now you're free to use the stock ones from Sanmar or SNS, but you could change them at your will as well. And so once you have that, publishing a product is super easy. Just click this to yes, and you select a date for it to go live. And what's nice here too is if you have a long-standing store for a school or whatever, and you get the call, say, hey, next week we have this new hoodie with this new graphic we want to put on it, but we don't want it to launch until next week. So you could even come in here, set a date for the future. So we're all decorators. We might be busy in the back cutting vinyl or heat pressing on the 19th. We might forget, oh crap, I got to put that hoodie online for this store. I could just set my date. It's going to populate it for us automatically, so I don't even have to worry about that. Okay.
Yeah, and I want to urge anybody that has this solution or is thinking about it. One of the big, we can give you a solution that works all day, but how are you going to drive people here and generate interest and sell this forward? And so we had that question early on. I'm going to come back and answer that in a broader way, but I want to point out this feature right now is this scheduling products is really key to long-standing stores. You might even set up a part of your program where you launch new products on the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month or whatever day, doesn't matter. You might say, okay, we're going to work with this school, and guess what? We're going to launch new merch on this timeline. And so you can build those drops out. You can make them limited edition, only available in that month. Like, you need to drive some interest, some reason for people to keep coming back to the store, and for the client themselves to continue to share and generate interest in the store. So use these tools as part of your sales model.
Absolutely. And so here we have our date set for it to go live. And it always goes the day before. So just that way it's a fail safe, so you don't put the wrong date. So this is automatically going to be on our store once we publish it. So here, clicking update. So we've just created our first product here successfully. And so now at this point, I'm going to come back to my store level. What we're going to see is the product that we just created. And so if I'm the builder of this store, what am I going to do next? I'm either going to add whatever other products I'm going to add to this store, whether it's more stock product from Sanmar or SNS, or building my own custom product. The beauty of Spirit Sew is everything in here is so repetitive. So really, once you get that the base understanding, here's how I build a product, here's how I build my store, the rest of the things that you do in here are all going to be completely repetitive. So you're going to have that. And you also have some nice tools in here to copy or clone your products, which is essentially creating an exact replicate. And then you could just come in here if you're going to offer the same tee, but with just a different logo, just clone it, come back to the designer and swap out your logos. So a lot of time saving features within here as well. And so once you have all those products, and just like stores, there's no limit to the amount of products that you could sell within here. You have to have at least one in order to publish, but you could have 500 other products within this store. So there's no caps there either. But Once you have your products loaded, really the last step for us now is to finish up the look and the feel of the store itself. So if I click my designer tab here I'm presented with my template options again, and these templates can be changed at any time, and all the saved colors and photos and things will carry over even if you change these templates. So here, this one is highlighted in green since we chose that at the beginning, so I'll just stick with it. And then here, coming into the live editor, this is then what's going to allow us to customize the color schemes here, upload logos and photos. So again, you're designing this with your client in mind or for whatever the needs are. So here we have our basic layout here with the single product that we have. And so from here, we have a basic text logo, but if I wanted that to be the actual customer logo or whatever, so I click change, select this logo here, click open, and now I could save it. So rather than the basic store name and text as a logo, I'm going to have the actual customer or corporate logo there represented than just basic text. Okay. And so now here's same thing with this header image. This is just a stock photo, and you're free to use that if this was for a lacrosse site, I'm assuming, but you're able to change these out to be whatever it is that you want. So I could just highlight this, click replace, and then again, it's just going to bring up a browser window from my computer. So if I design something graphically in Photoshop or Corel or what have you, I could choose those. Or if I wanted to use another photo altogether, I just select that photo that I want. So if it's for like a class reunion or something like that, you could drop that in there. And now some folks, they don't even really want a whole bunch of bells and whistles and design for their store. You could even turn that off and just let the featured products here in this store do the talking there. But again, at this point, this is up to you and the customer of how these look. And you do have the flexibility to change your background colors, font colors, and all that stuff there to really dial this in to look how you need it to, whether it's for the customer and things like that. And you could even change the text here, so if this is Bayside, Bayside apparel, you could change all these texts, add text above and below the banner here for more information. So it's a lot of features here for you to customize these themes however you see fit for your stores.
And so, Mike, there was one part, and I'm not sure if we got to it or maybe skipped over it, but I know, like, I've seen the text message up on the top of many stores where people like put store rules and details. Is that, you're going to show us how to do that?
Yeah, you could do that easily. So here we have a top info banner and a bottom info banner. So basically these act and work the same way. It's just either going to display right here or right here. So if I did want to add some information here about this store, if I display, and again, I could change the background color of that. So right now it's represented in gray, but then here I have that ability to type in, whatever it is that I want to say here, this store is only open for 2 weeks or blah, 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 whatever type of information you want to display here, you could display that via above that banner or below that banner. And, and moving forward too, what you'll see is you will also have the ability to add customized pages if we want to. So what I'll do is I'll save this theme. We'll pretend this is the finished look of this store. So I'm going to save it, right? And so now, once I have my products created, I have my site designed looking the way I want, clicking this little blue arrow, now we're ready to publish this store to go live. So we're brought back to the very beginning where we entered our name, we set our shipping and payment options, and now we could revisit this section, which will deal with publishing our store. So publishing a store is very, very simple as well. And as Josh mentioned, here we could have long-standing stores or we could have temporary stores. So if I turn this to yes and we clicked update, this store is basically going to remain open until we physically come back in here and turn this on to no. But if you want to set a specific time frame here, all you have to do is simply flip this switch, and then you're presented with your starting or opening date or an ending and close date. So here, let's just say we're going to open today on April 16th, and here's where you're going to set your close date. So if it's just a quick 2-week store here, so from the 16th through the 30th, anyone who has an internet connection could visit that URL and purchase any of those products. Once it's May 1st, the store is taken offline. No one else will be able to get to that store. Now, with you as the Spirit Sale manager, anytime a store is open, anytime a store is closed, you still have full control over that store. So a lot of these stores are very temporary in nature. So if this is going to reopen again in 2 months or next season, I could just come back in here and reopen this store for whatever date range that I want.
Yeah, and that's great because, and I'm going to answer a question from Nancy in the process of explaining this. Some people love the long-standing stores. They're great, but you want to continue to keep interest in. So long-standing stores are really good. Like if you have a permanent clothing line or brand or campaign that you're going to be running. I also think they're great for like employee stores where you set them up for a business where employees can go in and order apparel or swag. I've seen them work really well from that standpoint. But these pop-up temporary stores are really strong because one, it drives buyer behavior. Where there's a deadline to order, you tend to get more orders. And then it also allows you to group up your orders to be able to manage the business a little smarter with ordering transfers and how you order apparel and save on shipping and produce. So I would highly encourage you to think about that. And then if you want somebody to order offline and you want to add the order to the store, you can always enter an offline order as well and assign it to that store. So if somebody calls you with the order, or you have a paper form outside of the system, Nancy, you can always add that. But I would highly recommend an end date. And then that little thing Mike's hovering over, the countdown clock, that is motivating. I would click on that and add that if I were you.
Absolutely. So flipping this switch on, in our case, it's going to display right front and center on the top of that page. Store closes in X amount of days, hours, minutes, and seconds, and it's a live continuous running clock. So when the visitors are there, they see that front and center. I almost think it's like it encourages people to buy, because I'm the last minute type of guy. So if I see that clock, I'm like, oh no, I better buy it now, because I know if I wait till the last minute, which I normally do, I'm going to forget and the store is going to be closed. So just a nice enticer there to buy that product now. And then here, as I mentioned earlier, so sure, we could put a bunch of information on that front page or on the product pages, but this feature here, add page, that gives you the ability to add an about us page, a contact us, order information page. So it allows you to add as much information in a separate page, so I don't have to clutter up my front page with a whole bunch of text. I could have those different areas there, just to make it a little bit easier and more user-friendly for them to view that type of information.
Now, before we go too much farther, Mike, can we just hit those last couple features really quickly, because I want to go back to the front end of the 412 store and show some of this stuff in action.
Sure. And so here are these couple extra features. We have a notes customization, which is just an open-ended text box that will display during the checkout process. So a customer could type in, hey, can I have a different color? Or can you call me before processing this order? So just a way for you to communicate with that between the customer and the decorator there, and you would receive that information. You could password protect your store. So if you want to limit access to only those who have the password, enable that, set the password, and they'll have to punch in that password in order to gain entry to the products. And then this last one here, it's a fundraising metric. So that just allows you to display that graphic. If we're going to jump back to the 412, you'll see that. So to publish our store, it's just simple. We'll click update. So we just publish that store. So Josh, you want to go to the next one or just go through an order on this one?
Both. I want to kind of hit the those last three features. So this is the 412 store. If you scroll up to the top, you see now this isn't very relevant because we've had this store up for a while. It's a sample, but you can see the accepting orders until little banner. You can see how it's been totally tailored in design to be relevant to people from the 412 area code Pittsburgh, with the colors and what's been built there for Pittsburgh veterans. And you can see the value of the fundraising effort in the bottom right. And so one of the most powerful things in this store is causes with building these types of websites. And so I've seen them set up. Some of the biggest stores we've seen, sadly, are for when there's a tragedy of some sort, or when somebody's fighting against some sort of illness or anything like that. I mean, you guys are familiar with what we would possibly want to raise funds in our community for. This is a great way to be able to help people raise funds for their cause and have your business participate in that. So the fundraising element and grouping those orders and setting deadlines, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best things about the platform for generating business.
For sure.
Just a couple other notes on that. On the fundraising chart, you can do a kind of like a speedometer, I don't know what you call it, chart as well, right?
Yeah, you could change the view. Like right now, this is just, I think it's labeled, where are we at here? So yeah, our fundraising goal. So if I updated this, so here this is where you could change that. So scrolling down, I could set the goal of that fundraiser. I could title that fundraiser, and here I could display it as a progress bar or a gauge. And so this one is the progress bar. This one's the progress bar. So as those purchases continue, this bar right there will continue to fill up. And so I'll leave this one as a progress bar, just so you can see that. and when we view this store of what the progress bar will look like.
Well, can you do the gauge, because we saw the progress bar on the other one?
Yeah, I'm sorry, gauge. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, fundraising goal of whatever you want, title it whatever you want. We're going to display it as a gauge. And so now we'll update this. And then so what we'll do is we'll view this store, and then we'll walk through. We'll actually place an order of this particular product, and then you'll see what orders look like when they come in. And so here would be displayed as the gauge. So same concept would apply. As folks would buy, this gauge would continue to go up until it reached the goal there, and it would continue to have that. And it even gives you that ability. So if the customer wants to minimize that, they can minimize that to be a little smaller. Okay.
Okay, so we have a lot more to go through. We're coming up on the hour mark. We're going to try to aim for around an hour and 15. We may go a little over that. For those late into the presentation, don't worry. It's being recorded, and you'll be able to watch the entire thing, but the end is still going to be relevant to you here. So stay live with us, and so you can ask your questions. And yes, this is $599 a year, unlimited stores. You have to pay that $599 each year. It's fully online training, so we have videos once you sign up to walk you through everything you need to know, and you can go back and watch this, of course. And then we have a Facebook group that you can become a part of to share ideas and get ideas from other people that have been using this successfully. This is not a program where you're just going to kick out a blank canvas that customers can design on. We commonly see that for like DTG printing and whatnot. Our business is transfers and vinyl, and there are some things that customers create that can really put us in a jam to make the product. And so this is much more built to keep that art and that design setup skill with you as the decorator, and launch pre-made customer-specific designs out so they can shop with some customization ability through the personalized names, monograms, things of that nature. All right, Mike, so where are we headed next?
So I was just going to actually place an order for this particular product, just so we could take a look at what those orders start to look like when they start filtering in from your stores. So we have our creation here with just the basics that we did add. Here's that countdown clock that will be constantly running here. And so if I'm going to purchase this product, I'm a visitor to this store. And so here's what we generated as the mock-up in our designer. So I'm a customer now. I say, okay, I have that logo on the front for 14 bucks. I can buy that here, but here's then we made that name optional. So if I want to add that here, at $5 is my charge. It added that to my cost here. And so we made that field editable so that then they are able to input their name. And then here, customer chooses their sizes. We gave them multiple color options here to choose, so they can choose whichever color they want. And then here, adding to cart, once we do check out, this is just like any other online shopping experience. So we click on our shopping bag, we see what's there. And so in continuing to check out, this is going to be just like any other online shopping experience here. Customers are going to enter in all their pertinent information here as far as email, name, address, and phone number here. And then here's that notes field. So we do have the opportunity to add a note here. So, can I have a green shirt? So that you could type that in, and that when that order comes through, you'll see that here on that specific order.
Yeah, so sorry, that was by popular request. You can make that required, and how existing Spirit Sale users wanted to use that is like when they are bulk delivering all of the school fundraiser items to the school at once. Sometimes they use that field to say what's your homeroom number, or what's your teacher, or who's your coach, something like that. And so as a decorator, that'll allow you to be able to group those orders. So when they go to deliver it inside of the school, when the office is, or the PTO or PTF is dealing with that, that really helps that make the process easier for them.
Yep. So all you have to do is just simply flip this switch on, and they'll have to enter in whatever you tell them to. So you would label this homeroom or student's teacher. Flipping that switch on, they would then be required to enter something here, and they wouldn't be able to continue to delivery until they put that information here. So now in continuing to delivery, here we gave them options. So if I'm the customer, I'm able to choose, yeah, I'll pick it up here, or you know what, ship it to me for just a simple $10. So if I did add that flat rate, it takes that shipping total and adds it to my cost here. So I'm just going to stick with the pickup here and continuing the payment. In our case, we did give them multiple options to choose, an offline payment here, or if they want to pay via credit card, they can, or having a PayPal account to pay. Now, on this offline message, you could even customize the message here. So send me a check, or I'm going to send you a Venmo link. So you could even customize that messaging there, and that'll allow them to check out without any exchanging any funds on the front end there. But it would add an extra step to your process. You'd have to contact this customer to facilitate that payment, but just know you can offer different payment options there.
Before you leave this screen, we had a question earlier about taxes. So you'll see that up on the line. You can build out your taxes by state, correct?
Yep, that's at the state level.
Great, so that's possible.
And you could disable sales tax, if you want to, and you're calculating that in some other way, you could do that as well. But it's automated to take the sales tax from wherever the shipping address is. Okay, so I will stick with offline payment here. So completing my order, if I'm the customer to this store, I would receive a confirmation email with just essentially a repeat of this page with my order number, what it is that I ordered, and all of this information. And now you, as that Spirit Sale manager, you will also receive email notifications when these orders are placed. So you get an instant email alert, hey, I received an order on store X or store 2, whatever. And then not only do you get those email notifications, they will also filter in here to your dashboard. So they will all be here in your orders queue, and we have a little snapshot here. We have 6 orders over the last 24 hours. So those are continuously up to date. And so in viewing our orders, we could come in here. I could click my orders tab. And then this will be every single order that I have ever received on any of my stores here. So if you have a lot of stores, if you've had your subscription for a while, you may see a long list here. But you do have the ability to sort those however you want, whether it's a specific date range, a production state, which you'll see here in a little bit, shipment state, payment state, who's paid me, who hasn't. And honestly, what most people do is they're going to dial it into the store specifically. So you can click into this store drop-down box. I know my store is this name, so I'll just type that in. So by selecting that store, I'm going to see that store's specific orders. And so here, if I click onto this, I'm able to then see exactly what was ordered. And I know too, we chose that offline payment, so they have yet to pay for this order, but then I'm able to click into it, see exactly what was ordered, the cost, but more importantly for me, I have all of that customer information. So if I am going to send them a Venmo link, I could call them or shoot them an email, say, hey, I'm going to be sending you this Venmo link to pay for this order. And then here's that notes section. So whatever's entered in there, if you required something to be entered, that's where it would show. And then so in the case, you do offer offline payments, you do receive those funds via Venmo or by whatever means, you could then come in here, capture that order. And so now what that's going to do is it's going to flag this order now as being paid for. So if someone else is doing the production and they're accessing these orders, they can see, all right, yeah, this order's been paid for. So I know it's all good for me to go ahead and decorate. And now here, there's multiple ways. Now, Josh, how do you want to do this? Because there's multiple ways you could manage your orders, whether it's a single order per order basis or creating groups. How do you want to?
Yeah, so I want to put a bow on this part of the presentation, have a clear break, and then go into order and production management. So we do have some questions I want to get to, but Let me do a quick recap of where we've been and what we're showing here. Okay, so we're showing you how to build online stores through the Stalls solution, which is called Spirit Sale. I'm going to ask our moderators that are helping us manage the YouTube and the Facebook comments, if you could just drop a link to the Spirit Sale product page. So if people say, I want this in my business, they can add that to their cart on stalls.com and check out. So you guys can click and buy it. $5.99 a year, unlimited stores. And really what we're showing you is how to build client-specific web stores. You can build stores. You can build quotes that people can pay for online that are bulk orders of product or even a single shirt where they can visualize the art in the shirt and they can check out. If you publish a store, Kathy, the question was, can I add something later without taking it offline? Absolutely. You can add stuff right away without taking it offline. And if you build a store you really like, one of my favorite features is you can clone that store. So do a lot of work, set up your model store, so to speak, or your templates with your key products that you want to sell across stores, and then clone those stores or clone those products. That's a way just to speed it up and make it more efficient. You can absolutely bring your own artwork as the shop owner, as the apparel decorator into the program, place it onto the Sanmar or the SNS Activewear products or on your own custom products. Mike and I were prepping for this. I looked at a couple live customer stores. I have somebody right now that's selling bouquets of flowers, right? They're selling tickets to events. You can use this to sell anything. Of course, the catalyst is decorated apparel, but you can sell whatever you want to complement that on this. Stalls doesn't take any percentage of the money. It's one flat rate, $5.99 a year. Our goal is to help small apparel decorators get online and grow their business. There was a quick question around, can the item be marked taxable, non-taxable? For example, apparel is not taxable in PA. Is it at the item level, Mike? Can we mark it?
It's only at the store level at this time.
Okay, so basically, if you are, you can to that person, you can set up PA as non-taxable, but you'll just need to be consider if you're selling only apparel products. So that would create a little confusion when you're mixing products in store. So we'll take a look at that. All right, and no, it's not $5.99 a year. It's $599 a year for this solution. I wish it was $5.99. Sorry, guys, we can't go that low because we do have to support you on this and pay fine people like Mike to set you up and teach you and sell it. All right, so with that in mind, we've shown you how to build a store, how to collect orders, how to create customizable products, how to customize the store. Now, ideally, we build a lot of these stores, and once we get going with this, we're accepting a lot of orders into the business, okay, from different clients. And so the next big part is, how do I keep track of all this? How do I produce it efficiently? And so Spirit Sale is more than just a sales system. It's a production system. And so we're going to pivot now to the production management tool to go through here.
Okay, great. Yeah, so as I mentioned, you're able to operate and produce your orders however you want to, whether it's on a single order basis or you're able to create production groups. So let's just say for our instance, we have our store open from today until whatever it was, April 30th. So we have that 2-week window where we're going to be accepting these orders. So rather than working on them individually as they come in, I could then allow all those orders to come in through that time frame. So my store's closed. I know all my orders are in. And so now what I could do is I could create them into one large production group, which is going to help me do a lot of different things. One, it's going to help me keep track of all those orders for that specific store. But two, in grouping them together, now I know now I'm going to know the exact amount of inventory that I'm going to need to have. So if I need 10 t-shirts and X size, color, what have you, I'm going to be able to generate a list of all those orders. So I have one concise list. So I have to call Sanmar or wherever I'm ordering my garments. I know exactly what I need. So I don't have any understock, overstock, or I'm getting in a bunch of stuff that I might not resell again. It's just tied in specifically to this store. And so to do that, it's very easy. So what I could do here is create a production group. And earlier on, I placed a few orders in some demo stores of mine just so I could highlight this. And so this is going to be a look at pretty much exactly what we saw from our orders queue. But what this does is we have this option to select these orders and put them into one group. And so here, if I want to add this one, and this one here, and this, let's say these 5 orders right here into one group. Okay, and you don't have a limit to how many orders you put in a group. So I'm going to check these orders here. And again, you have your same sorting features here, your starting date or a specific store. So, but once you do that, I'm going to schedule production. And now what I've just done is I've created a production group of those 5 orders, right? And so here I have the ability to customize this. So I could name this, my store order, from today's date, whatever you want to call that. You could even build other users to assign it to one of your employees, set a starting date, due date, and enter any notes pertaining to this specific order group. And so as I scroll down now, I'm going to be able to see, okay, the quantity of these I need. So this is a relatively large store. I need 80 of those, and then one of these and one of these customized names and logos and things like that, right? So I have a list of everything that I'm going to need here, and more importantly, all the garments that I have. And so here there are some different tools here for us to help manage this. So here, if I know I'm ordering transfers from Transfer Express here, I could open this directly in Easy View, and what it'll do is it'll take this 9x8 graphic, take it to Easy View, where I'm then able to lay out my gang sheet and get my screen printed transfers ordered. And then in some cases too, if you're using some of our templates that are downloadable, via names and numbers and whatnot, now I have the ability to download these vector files. So if I need to cut them in my vinyl cutter or my print and cut machine or whatever, I have those vector formats to produce them however I need to.
Yeah, so I don't want this to get too confusing for our new users that may not be familiar with all those terms. So let me try to put it at a very high level. You've sold all your stuff in a store or for a day. This is your way to batch stuff together with some under some common theme to make it together, because that's going to be efficient. And so how people are doing this is, for your long-standing stores, they're typically batching on some time schedule, and they're filtering by date, and they're grouping orders every 2 days or every 3 days or every 1 day if you have enough volume rolling through to be able to make that stuff from yesterday's orders. If you are doing temporary stores, pop-up stores, typically store closes, and as soon as the store closes, you're batching all the orders from that store together. What that's doing, what Mike's showing you here, is it's going to show you all the files that were sold from that store and all the apparel items that were sold from that store, that date range, whatever your filter is. And so now I can order all the transfers together. I can cut all the vinyl together if I want to cut vinyl to produce it. And like Mike said, the most important thing is I can order all of the shirts together. And so this is, if click the drop down there for me, Mike, this is going to allow you to do like 3 really key things. One is generate a purchase order so you can buy all of your garments and get them on their way to you. You want to do that right away if you're not stocking garments. And as you are waiting for the garments to be received in, I would highly recommend, we'll show you how to do this in a second, you will generate a work order report. Basically, that is your production job. Basically, it shows everything about your production group that you need to do. And so I would print this out personally, and I would check stuff off the list. So as stuff is received, as it's made, as it's cut on your vinyl cutter, this is how you're going to organize your life to be able to produce this batch of orders. So I love this work order report. Not only is it showing you the design, but it's showing you how many you need to make and what sizes and what placement on the garment, an actual visual from what the customer saw when they checked out. And so I would print this, I would organize all your stuff. Actually, I would put the work order report in a box or in a bin. And as your garments are received, as your pieces are cut, I would group all that stuff in a bin. And as soon as everything is in, or at least the majority of the stuff is in, I would be able to take it from the open status, right, or the ordered status, and I would move it into my department. It's in vinyl cutting, it's in heat pressing, it's in shipping. You can travel it across this Kanban board and set up your own customizable stages to manage the work across departments or steps in the process. This is fully tailored to you. So that's your work order. Okay. Mike, would you mind showing how to run a purchase order report from that group?
Sure. So I've moved mine here. So I'll just open this production group back up. And so we're going to see everything that we saw here. And then what I could do in my reports, generating a purchase order, what that's going to do is it's going to break out all the different garments that I need as far as the brand name, the colors, sizes, and the exact quantities that I need to order. You know, so if I have this weird heathered watermelon color that I'm only using for this store, I don't have to order a whole case of these, and who knows when I'm going to use those again. I know exactly what I'm going to need to have on hand there.
Yeah, so basically you would tailor this to whatever vendor you're going to send it to. Mm-hmm. And then you would be able to print this as a PDF or export as a PDF and email the purchase order, or use this as your copy and go online and just buy the stuff, right, from their website.
Yep, because you could build out vendor lists here as well.
All right. So I love that piece of it because that gets the blanks moving right away, and you can choose what you want included or customize it. And then the last piece, right, once those blanks come in and we make the stuff, now all of a sudden, like, we've grouped everything together, which makes a lot of sense for ordering and making the stuff to save yourself money and make it efficient. But keep in mind, these are all individual orders to individual customers. And so now we need to take that group and we need to break it back out to go into all the individual bags that we're going to separate and drop off at the school to make it easy for them to deliver, or maybe all the different boxes and envelopes to ship to 80 different places or however many different places for the orders. And so that's really our shipping report, so we can print our labels. So you can grab that and run that shipping report from it.
I don't know where my order just went. I think I moved it somewhere. But anyways, I'll show you a list here because they'll all act the same way. And so when I do a shipping report, what that does generates us an individual packing list for every single order we had in that group. I don't remember where I dragged mine, but it'll display this so the customer's front and center on here in this packing list. So when you pack those up, stick this packing list in there. So if you are delivering it to the school or wherever that might be, that's front and center, so they know who to hand it out to. And if you are shipping these items, you still need to generate a shipping report. So from this shipping report as well, not only do you generate packing lists, but you could also export all of this customer information into a concise spreadsheet, which then I could then in turn upload to ShipStation, UPS.com, or whatever to have all of my shipping labels generated as well.
Yeah, and I love the little QR code there too, and the QR code's on the work order report as well. So if you're operating off of paper, right, and this is a packing slip, so it's probably going to be paper that drops into the shipment. That QR code's allowed you to take your phone, scan that QR code. It'll basically take you right to that customer's order and allow you to mark it as shipped and complete. Okay, so that's really neat to be able to manage the process kind of on paper and what you need to do, but electronically as you move it throughout the stages of production, ultimately to shipping it to your customer. So yeah, production management is pretty robust. The reason I wanted to make sure we went into it, I don't feel like a lot of people understand it that well that are using the platform. We have some people use it very well, but there was a lot of thought put into it, and it can really shave many, many hours and complexities off of your day once you're set up online and selling on these stores. Okay, so we're going to stop for a little bit Q&A. Is there anything we may have missed, Mike, that you want to point out before we do that?
I think we covered it pretty well in depth. That's for sure.
All right, cool. So let me look back and see. Had a question. Had you? We showed it in the beginning, but had you already made the artwork in EasyView? And the answer is yes. You can connect your Transfer Express account if you're already ordering transfers, and you can bring in all of your artwork from EasyView and put it onto items. And so that way you're like creating your product listings and selling stuff and managing your orders through Spirit Sale, but it allows you to go back and to EasyView and order your transfers to be able to produce, or order your blank apparel if that's where you want to buy it from. Production management is sweet. Thanks. I'm glad you guys like it. We put a lot of work into it and a lot of thought, and so I think it can make your life a lot easier. People don't realize it's all in there.
Absolutely, yeah. For some of the early adopters of Spirit Sale, heck, they might not even have a store for a customer, but what they'll do is they'll build a little production square here in Spirit Sale to just help them manage everything. Even if it's not within a Spirit Sale shop that they have, they'll just create a production group of order X and just walk it through there, so they can come in here every morning, every mid-afternoon, every evening, so they know, hey, what's in my heat press queue, what's in my screen print queue. Everything could be managed right within here.
Yeah, and that's the important thing. You can enter offline orders into Spirit Sale and drop them into your queue, right? You can send the quotes and collect your orders here. You can do online stores. And so getting all of your orders into one place in a way that they can be managed throughout your steps in the process will save you a ton of time. Some more questions. Question is, does $5.99 need to be paid in full, or can payments be made? It is an in full payment, but we do have a 30-day money back guarantee. That's still active, right, Mike?
That's correct. Yep. So within that 30-day time frame, you figure out, hey, this isn't for me, or it's just not what you thought. As long as you're within that 30-day time frame, you can just cancel that subscription and get the full refund back.
Yep. So that's important, but you lose all your stores if you cancel. So I think that's important to note as well. So Kathy asked a question. I'm just going to bring it up as I read it here so everybody can read it with me. When you are new and have very few stores online, there may not be enough orders for your minimum orders for SNS or SanMar in order to have no shipping charges on our end. What then? So a couple different ways you can approach that, Kathy. One is you can build shipping costs into your price. I definitely would recommend that you account for it somewhere. And I agree, sometimes you're not going to have the order velocity to be able to get to the free shipping all the time. And so what I would do is I would reduce your SKUs. And so you were selling similar products across multiple stores. And so that will allow you to group your orders and maybe even place a modest amount, don't go crazy, but a modest amount of inventory on shelf. And so, for instance, if you sell the Gildan 5000 and you're going to sell it in black, charcoal, and white, right, and stick to neutrals across different customer stores, perhaps when you order, you can order a few extra to get to the minimum to get the free shipping, and have that be a style you're going to sell into another store moving forward. So that's a way you can kind of buy your way into inventory. Any other suggestions on that, Mike? I think it's really finding the right clients for stores, right?
Yep, finding the right clients for your stores, and you hit it right on the head. Just kind of simplify your offering. So keep those common items that you use, your Gildan 5000s, and keep those and sell them across the board. So that way, you're always going to use those ones, but don't start offering the pastels or the neons, knowing I may never even have a customer for those. Just simplify.
Yeah. Do you mind pulling up an order on your screen real quick? I want to show the capture payment again for offline payment. While you do that, I'm going to answer another question. Is there any sort of option to add in-commerce payment plans like Sezzle or Afterpay? Not at this time, but our eyes are on them. We understand what those payment methods have done for small decorator businesses and big businesses, frankly. So we are actively developing it. We have an active development team on this and always launching new features. So I know that's somewhere down our hit list for sure, but not at this time. All right. Would you mind? I'm going to share your screen again, Mike. So the question is, if you do offline payment and accept checks, how does the customer close out the order? And so I think the answer is you close it out for them.
Yeah, we would close that order out for them. I don't have an open order that came through here, but if you offer that offline payment, this right here, this payment would say balance due. And then this is the actual order. You'd have all of that customer information in here via email, as well as their phone number. You can contact them either method, say, hey, I need you to send me a check, or you're going to send them a Venmo link or what have you. And then this section here would have a capture button. So if you did, they sent you the check, you cashed it, you confirmed the funds were there, it's all good. You could then capture that as being paid, and then it'll transition from balance due to being paid for. So you do manage that for them. You would have to collect that payment from them before marking that off as paid.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Mike. As we look to wrap up, I want to share my screen real quick and show you all something. And again, this is recorded. If you're watching the live version, as soon as we conclude, which will be in a minute or two here, you'll be able to go and watch the full thing on YouTube or Facebook and get answers to some of the questions that are now coming in. But if you visit spiritsale.com, you will land on this page. This page is designed for you. So this will allow you to kind of review the features that we just went through. Also, one of my favorite things is this example stores link. So if you click on example stores, it'll take a second, but it'll load some different example stores that are out there for different markets. So as you go down through, you can kind of watch that, but you can also see, a fanware store, and there's our 412 store. The other one I like, this corporate store is pretty cool. And all you need to do is click visit demo store, and then you can open that store up, and you can kind of navigate around, and you can play around with, personalizing products, look at the product listings and seeing how everything works. But it's really nice on these stores. And what I love to say is once you buy in, you can use these example stores to sell your clients. And that's one of the most powerful things to get clients and say, hey, I can set up a store that looks like this for you, where you can sell products and your clients can check out, whether that's for your business, your brand, whatever it might be. The other thing I want to point out, if you're like pretty sure you want to move forward with this, but not quite ready to buy, there's this button, schedule a demo, right up in the top. And when you click on schedule a demo, it's going to give you a couple different options here. Number one is it's going to populate a calendar for you. So you just got to scroll down a little bit, and you can schedule a demo with Mike, where you'll be one-on-one on him in video and like a Zoom call. And he'll be able to show you specific things and work through you on a demo with the hope of answering any last questions for you to move forward. Or Clint couldn't join us today, but he's really good as well and has been doing this as long as Mike. So we have two experts that give the sales demos on this. You can schedule a demo with Clint. Basically, when I click that, it's going to take me to Mike's calendar, and I can see he has availability for Monday. And then I pick a time slot, and that'll show up on Mike's calendar, and he'll be ready to help you out with the demo. So again, that's spiritsale.com. We can share the link. One final question before we conclude. Also some comments coming in. For accepting credit cards, is there one universal company? We've integrated with some of the biggest, Authorize.net, Stripe, and PayPal. And so when you set up to receive money from Authorize.net, Stripe, or PayPal, pretty much you'll be able to accept any credit card known to man. They will collect their merchant fee. That's separate from us. We don't get in between you and the money. So research those three options, figure out which one you want to offer, but they're all three, very reputable. And then custom domains on stores, Mike. I know we're working on that. Is it? It's not quite ready for prime time, but I believe some people are doing it, correct?
If you have a lot of familiarity with HTML coding on the background, you can kind of fudge that and build your store into a frame, but from the SpiritSale platform itself, you can set up redirects, so mydomain.com would redirect to mydomain.spiritsale.com, but really the easiest and simplest way is just use our store URLs from whatever you name it, .spiritsale.com. We hope
Okay.
to have some of those features in moving on down the road, but at the end of the day, oftentimes these are very temporary in nature, and a lot of folks don't even look up there at that address, so.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to leave on this comment because I love it. And this is a nice thank you for your time today, Mike, and all the work you put in to get ready for this. But still have a lot to figure out, but I love Spirit Sale, exactly what I've been looking for years. It's amazing. And I just want to reiterate, like, that's our goal with this. Stalls isn't getting rich off of $5.99 a year. You can trust me for what we're putting into development of this program. But we've built this. There's a lot of solutions out there for this, or I should say half a dozen solutions out there for this. Most of them are well over $1,000 to get set up, even more if you want unlimited stores, and most of them are going to take a percentage of every sale that you make. Our goal with building this was to make it affordable for small businesses, for heat printers, to be able to really grow their business and buy more transfers, buy more heat transfer vinyl, buy additional heat presses, and scale. And so the features we build are very geared towards small business. Now, we do have big businesses that sometimes use these for fundraisers in addition to another platform. It'll certainly scale for any size business, but for those small businesses, if you've been looking for a solution that's tailored to you, I really think it's Spirit Sale. And again, try it, sign up for $5.99, try it. If you don't like it, 30 days, get your money back. But I have a feeling if you put the time and energy to really learn it and think about how you can incorporate this to change your business, it'll be a great solution for you. So on that note, we went way long, but that's okay. It's comprehensive. If you have any questions, you can leave those in the comment section. We'll make sure we look in as more people watch this in time. Mike, thanks again. Appreciate you joining, and appreciate everybody watching. We're going to end the broadcast. We'll see you guys soon.
See ya.